Hello, Internet world. Daniel the Wizard here.
Howdy, y'all, folks.
This is the Driftwood Podcast. We just recorded episode number 62. We talk about entitlement. Ooh, buddy, we talk about entitlement. Talk about entitlement. Are you entitled? Do you feel entitled to things? Do you feel like you're owed shit? Do you feel like you're owed stuff? Do you? I do sometimes.
I have done in the past, for sure.
So we talk about some of our experiences with being entitled, but we also talk about I don't know. We unpack a lot of things about what being entitled may look like, right?
Mhm.
And different experiences in our life where maybe we were entitled. Think about maybe situations with a family will or even in a relationship or with a job. Yeah, we unpack all that. So we'll release it tomorrow at noon. So you can check out TDP number 62 tomorrow at noon.
I just want to say real quick, because I'm looking at it here on Facebook, it's supposed to be live. It's a huge bag. And also, the auto-generated subtitles are highly inaccurate.
Well, it's because we don't speak proper English, man.
I tried. I don't want to see if it comes. Anyway, yeah.
Are you the only watcher?
I'm the only watching.
Have you shared it? There's a shared thing, I think.
Share to.
Oh wow! Won't even let you share it. Share it.
Won't you let me share it?
We're on YouTube as well, so.
Where am I sharing to?
Well,
My page.
yeah.
Okay.
Whatever. Yeah. So check out episode TDP number 62, entitlement, tomorrow at noon. I'll have the show art done sometime tomorrow. And then we'll have it uploaded and ready to go, ready to listen to, and then ready to engage about it because some of y'all might get upset about this. Some people may. The reality is, in my opinion, is if you get upset about some of the things that we say or whatever, then maybe there's some things that you should consider that's going on in your life, right? Maybe you should consider how those things are affecting, right? So if we bring up something about entitlement and we're talking about entitlement and we may be calling people out indirectly by stating how we've been entitled, right? If you take stuff like that personal, that should be an opportunity for you to evaluate. So if something that we say affects you, even if you think we're wrong, you're like, oh no, you're wrong. Maybe. It's likely actually. Right? But gather your thoughts. Consider what we're saying may actually be of benefit. Not whether we're right or wrong.
I know we said a lot of things. I think a lot of things are different kind of people disagree with. I'm happy with that. Okay. If you disagree with it,
you're not who we're talking to.
Well, no, I mean, I'd actually like to know. I'd actually like to hear genuine honesty. I'd like to hear what you're disagreeing with. You know, and like Daniel said, if you find yourself being stirred up by it, or you getting in your feels about it, yeah, that's something you probably need to be looking at.
There's definitely something to consider there. There's something to evaluate. All right, look, all we're trying to do with bringing up these things is to present how maybe the things that we just accepted as common or we just thought we knew, we don't actually know about it, right? We just assume we know and we assume everybody's operating under the same information. But everybody's not operating under the same information. That's been the problem.
Yes. Those covert contracts.
James says, yo.
Hello, Mr. Personal, sir. Sir Personal.
Right. So if you're engaging in these things and you feel like, again, like if we said something that stirred you or that wasn't right, we're not trying to be right. That's not the goal here. All right. We're just really trying to present that reality's not what you think it is. Reality is not as you see it. It's just not. You have your perception of it, but you have a very limited view on what reality is. You only have the scope of the life that you've lived, right? You have limited information outside of conversations you have with people. But as I've learned, most people aren't honest. Most people aren't telling the truth because they haven't actually figured out what the truth is for them. They just repeat the things that they hear and that were said to them that they know. They just repeat the actions and the habits of everyone else around them.
Yeah, what it is, you got to consider that your reality is based on what you know of it. Okay, that's the limit of your reality. That's the same for everyone. So everyone, what we all share in common is that we have a limited reality limited by our own perception of it. So now, okay, you may be having a hard time, but consider this: everyone else is going through the same thing. We're all here in a semi-state of confusion for the most part, trying to figure shit out, and it's not easy. And if you get caught up in the "it's not easy," well, then you don't get anything else done. So,
if it was easy, everybody would do it, right?
Yeah,
everybody
right.
would just go off doing whatever they want. Right? The reality is, you don't have to accept what you think your role is.
Mhm.
You don't have to accept that because you've been dealt this hand that you have to be this certain way. That's just not true. Percival, get in here. Oh, Clayton. He's talking, he's trying to get his brother in there. So the reality is if you're not identifying who you are in these moments, if you're not separating yourself, if you're not allowing yourself to know that you're doing these things under faulty information, right? You're not accepting what reality could be. You're accepting what you know. You don't know very much. Like that's none of us do. We're very limited in what we're able to know. It's why it requires having experiences of stuff to be able to compare that, to have some data.
Well, as far as making assumptions goes, which is something I try to discourage, but as far as assumptions goes, assuming that you might be wrong, it's not that. It's pretty solid. Assuming that you might be wrong,
That's a safe bet.
That's a pretty safe bet.
Yeah.
Because even if you are wrong about being wrong, then you're right, so it's okay.
No, you're definitely playing the odds in your favor. You're definitely betting on the winning hand if you assume that you're probably wrong.
Mm-hmm.
But don't walk into anything thinking you know, because you don't. Somebody else may have a different experience that helps them better understand. James asks, what's a good way to let go of the idea that we know it all and try a different perspective? So, what's a good way to let go of the idea that we know it all and try a different perspective?
Well, I mean, first of all, if you think you know it all, prove it, and then you'll find out very quickly you don't, because you won't be able to prove that you know everything.
But most
so the important part is how do you try a different perspective? I think is the important part of that question. I'm sorry if I'm diluting your question, James, but
any practice. So good way to let go of the idea that we know it all. Well, first off, a know-it-all, somebody that knows it all, they don't like to be challenged, right? So if you feel like when you're challenged with something and you're just like, no, it's faulty, like I already know, right? Like I know. I read it in a book somewhere, I know, I've tried it, I know. But you know how many people I talk to about meditation or yoga, I'm like, yeah, I know that shit. Like, yeah, but that don't work for me. I know, but that don't work. That don't work.
I've tried everything.
Why doesn't it work? First off, if you think you know that it doesn't work, tell me why it doesn't work. Because you didn't fully commit to it. That's not my fault. You didn't fully commit to it. So James asks, are there any practices that I would recommend? David, do you have any ideas? Any practices that you would recommend?
Ways to let go of the idea that we know. Well, as I said, if you have the idea in your mind that you know it all, prove it. Prove it, because you'll be the first human being in all history to be able to do so.
I know a practice. I know a solidified practice that people can do. You can practice listening. You can practice shutting up and hearing what somebody else has to say.
Agreed.
Because the reality is, I'm a person that I think I know everything. There's times in my life where I'm very confident because I feel like I've figured it out. Oh, you're not going to tell me shit I don't know. I know everything that's going on here. The reality is, if I would just listen to the people that are around me, they have input that's valuable too. And I'm not right. If I'm operating from a place of needing to be right, I'm already faulty. Being right is not necessary. It's not necessary. Like if your goal is to be right, what's that to attain? Like to prove everybody wrong? I don't know. I think you just have to You have to understand what it is. Why do you feel the need to be right? Me personally, a practice that I could put is listening to other people. Right? Asking a question that I feel like I know an answer to and hearing what somebody else has to say about it. Right? If I think I know God, but I ask somebody else, hey, what do you think God is? And they tell me something, who's right and who's wrong? Is there really a right and a wrong? There's
Well,
no
you can
need.
both be right because you asked what they think. If that's what they answered,
It's a
I
thought.
think that's correct.
It's a thought.
That's
Exactly.
correctly what they think.
Who am I to tell them what they think? But there's no challenge of being right or wrong or anything like that, because the goal should not be to be right. It's to know. It's to understand. It's not about being right. It's about understanding. And being right limits you from being able to understand. That's my opinion on it, though.
Right, and as far as trying to gain a different perspective, how does one gain a different perspective in the material world? You change your position, you change your elevation, you change your location, you change your situation, whatever, you know. That's how you gain different perspective. So bring that into the psychological, the metaphysical, if you will. You have to change your position. You have to change where you're standing or where you're sitting or whatever position you're in. You have to change that so you see it differently.
Consider the information that you're taking.
Well,
Huh?
yes.
Right. So think about the positioning. David's talking about positioning. There's something simple that you can do here by just changing the content that you consume, giving yourself something different that you don't know, right? Giving yourself something that you're not familiar with, getting something new.
Right. Or something you do know, but look at it in a different way. Look at it in a way that you haven't previously. I mean, you know how you look at this thing. Now think, how have I not looked at this thing?
Yeah.
And then take
what
that.
have I not considered?
Yeah. Yeah. And that'll give you a whole new perspective. You don't have to move your position very much. Well, at all, really. You just think about looking at it differently.
James says, let me ask a better question. Do I have to learn things the hard way by being proven wrong? Do I have to hit a bottom before I recognize something has to change? Once I arrive at recognizing a change is necessary, are there resources or tools tools I can use to support the change? All right, I'll put the question up, see if people, it's a long question for other people. But I'm gonna read that one more time for anybody watching. Let me ask a better question. Do you have to learn things the hard way by being proven wrong? All right, so I'm gonna stop there. I'm gonna answer that part of it. No, you don't have to. You don't have to learn things by being proven wrong. That's being proven wrong is somebody being right over you. That's not necessary to learn something. All right. Do I have to hit a bottom before I recognize something has to change? Yes, you do have to. You have to face a moment in life where you reach a pinnacle, a catalyst, if you will. Something has to give. You've reached a friction point. You've reached something's going to blow. It can go either way, right? But you do have to find. Everybody's bottom is different, though, right? My experience of the worst thing in my life may be different than somebody else's experience. Their worst experience in their life may be their love of their life, right? Mine might be that I didn't get the job I want, right? Whatever it is, everybody's low is their low. You can't tell anybody what that is, but what it is, they have to have a moment to where they want to change. They want something different. They're questioning reality. There's no way that this is okay. There's no way that this is what it all results to. Do I have to hit a bottom before I recognize something has to change? Well, maybe not, but I think so. I think that you do have to find a bottom. I think a bottom has to be there, because if your life's not bad, you have nothing to change. You have no bottom to come from.
Well, metaphorically speaking, until you hit the bottom, you can't start climbing up. Until you reach that stopping point, the resting point is what it really is. It's a resting point.
Some people have multiple bottoms. Right? The reality
There's a basement. There's a basement.
Okay, and then the next question is, once I arrive at recognizing a change is necessary, are there resources or tools I can use to support the change?
Absolutely.
Yes. Well, so one of the things that we're trying to provide with the Driftwood podcast is some of those things. Now, we haven't fully gotten together as far as how we're going to provide those tools and resources, but a lot of the things that we're trying to figure out is how to provide those things, tools and resources. So one of the things that I use regularly is I try to use these like spiritual apps, things that get me thinking about something differently, because the real world exists in front of me all the time. I need something to take me out of the real world for a moment, just for a moment.
Mm-hmm.
So like maybe it's me like watching something like Gaia. Like that they don't pay us or anything, and I don't have the subscription anymore. But that was something that I used. Like
Mm-hmm.
it allowed a lot of spiritual exploring, right? To see what's out there, to see if anything resonated with me.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
The thing is when you're questioning reality and questioning what's there, you have to find something that answers questions that you can't find in the real world. You have to find some other way. Some people go to the Bible. Some people go to Buddhism, Hinduism, and stuff. It doesn't matter what you go to. You just have to find some way.
Satanism.
You have to find some way to get resources and tools, right? Religion, in some ways, offers that for people. Now, I have my qualms with religion and as a whole, but whatever it takes to get you started in that change, because just because I have a negative view on religion doesn't mean that religion in itself is inherently bad. I've just seen mostly bad actors. Mike Donaldson says, "How have you cavemen been? Haven't seen you in years." Well, you can see us every week on Facebook.
Yep. Yep. Or check our website out, driftwood.com. Anyway, I want to address quickly James's thing about the tools can support the change. Okay, so something I stumbled upon fairly recently, a couple of years back, was the thing about discipline and motivation. So when you intend to do something, you're either motivated or you're disciplined to do it. That's how you get stuff done. Okay, so the thing is, when you lack the motivation to really do it, you can discipline yourself. You just make yourself do it, discipline. And when you lack the discipline, if you have the motivation, you just want to do it. It doesn't matter if you don't have the discipline, but you want to do it.
That drive.
Right. Now, here's the thing. What if you have a double failure? What if your motivation drops out and you just can't discipline yourself to get it done? What else can you do? And that's where people give up. They're like, I'm not motivated and I don't have discipline to it. So I'm just going to throw my hands up. Wait. Here we go. There's a third path. There's a third way. Third way is make it easy. Make it easy where you don't need the discipline. Make it easy where you don't need the motivation even. So, example, you want to diet. You want to lose some weight. Okay. The discipline, you can force yourself to do it and discipline yourself. Schedule out your diet sheet and everything every day, and you stick to it. Or you might have the motivation. You want that beach body, and you're going to get it. Maybe it's going to be great. So that's motivation and discipline. Now, as we said, what if you have a double failure? Make it easy for yourself. So instead of having the stuff that you usually eat, that that's what's causing you to have the poor health or the bad figure or whatever it is, those things are there. Now you have to discipline yourself not to, or you have to be motivated not to. But what happens if you open up the fridge and those things aren't there ready just to grab, not readily available? Instead, there's the good stuff readily at hand. So instead of beer, there's a kombucha, or instead of coffee, there's green tea, or whatever. However you want to step up your game. And so, like, you open the cupboard, cookies, snacks, crackers, all the rest of it, right there, easy reach. No, make it easy for yourself. Put the bad stuff on the top shelf, so that if you really want the bad stuff, you're gonna have to work for it. You're gonna have to get a chair out and get up there on the top shelf and get it. Okay, and the easy stuff, the good stuff, is there at eye level. Make it easy for yourself and apply that throughout your life. Make it easy for yourself to do the right thing, to do the thing that you intend to do.
All right. So I'm going to answer James's last question specifically. Once I arrive at recognizing a change is necessary, are there resources or tools I can use to support the change? Now, I brought up Gaia as an spiritual experience to go explore certain things. But are there resources or tools? Well, first you have to start identifying like the areas in which like you feel like you're lacking. Is it emotional intelligence? Is it self-awareness? Is it like you have to identify within yourself? Now there's ways to do that. You can have a good group of people around you. All right. You can tune into the Driftwood podcast. All right. You can get on to these websites and Google search these types of things that are questions that you may have, right? Read different articles. Look, you have to understand that different people feel different ways about these things. And you just got to kind of go across and gather the information that's available and pick the parts that are valuable to you, right? And put those into effect.
Mm-hmm.
So the tools and the resources that are available, it really just depends on what it is that you're trying to create change in.
Mm-hmm.
But most people, what we're trying to deal with is creating that change and becoming more self-aware and self-sufficient and understanding what the intrinsic value you have. Knowing your intrinsic value means you know who you are,
Mm-hmm.
right? So you have to break away everything.
Mm-hmm.
You got to get rid of like the mask that you wear when you're going to these places, when you go to a job and you act the way that you're supposed to act at the job. Like when you're around people and you act the way that you're supposed to act around people, right? All of those masks need to go away, and you need to find what it is, that thing that's in you that doesn't change regardless of the mask. What part of you are you putting into that position that's a teacher? What part of you are you putting in that position that's a brother? What part of you are you giving to that? Right? Because it takes a commitment from you to be able to provide those things for yourself and for other people. You have to acknowledge where you lack and where you fall short. That requires people around you letting you know and you being able to accept it. It just does. Those are the best resources, the people that are around you.
Really important point. Okay, so the people around you, I don't want to say they're tools, because that'd be rude, but you do need to see everything around you as, if you're looking for things to support that change, everything needs to support that change. So if you've gone through rehab and you're out of rehab, you're clean, you're moving forward with your life, you go back to your old neighborhood, you catch up with your old buddies, you hang out one evening, and you're back on it. You're back on it. Fool, what did you do? What are you doing? That's not where you were going. You just messed yourself up. You didn't support the initial thing. You got to get, if you're going to make the change, you got to be wholehearted about it. You got to really mean it. That means not using those tools that you were using before that ruined your life. Don't put those aside. You don't need those anymore. That's what got you to where you are now. Now you're moving in a different direction. You need new things that support what you want.
But here's what you have to remember. You ain't going to get it right on the first try.
It's difficult. It really is.
You're not.
Really
Look, you can't expect that you're going to run it through the first try and you're going to figure this shit out. Look, you're going to be wrong. You're going to say some shit that you shouldn't have said. But you have to try. You have to go do things so you have something to correct. Right? In action, there's nothing to correct. Right? The only thing to correct in action is to create action. Then you have something to do. You have something to steer. You have something actionable to change. But if you don't have action, if you don't have something to support that, make all the excuses that you want, right? It's not available. It's not this. It's not that, right? But if you can identify what it is that you're lacking in, you can find the resources. You can. But you have to be honest with yourself, and you have to be able to acknowledge, right? Where are some things? Not all of them. You can't figure them all out, man. Just like the things that you know that you probably should do better. Those things you know that I should probably be doing better, right? Is it keeping your vehicle a little more tidy? Is it paying attention to the calendar so you know what day bills are due, right? It's those little things, right? It's just getting those little like David was saying, just those little things. Give yourself the best chance, right? You know how you work. You know how you act. Share those things with people so people can help.
Here's a good one. If every morning you're looking for your car keys, hang them somewhere. Hang them on a hook. Like put them.
I don't like that you're saying this, David. I don't appreciate that.
I don't want to talk about the lack of organization.
I don't appreciate the disrespect and the accusations here. Look, we all make mistakes. Look, none of us are perfect. We all fail at all of these things. But the thing is, how do we respond to those failures? When we mess up, do we get mad at ourselves and beat ourselves up? We're like, damn, man, we probably should have done a little more there.
Well, I mean, I guess it's not that difficult to react poorly. You know, you don't know me. You don't know my life.
You're never going to see me again, so F you and F off.
Right. Oh.
But we'll both remember that interaction. Maybe not the specifics of it. We'll both
remember the same way.
Yeah. I'll remember it as the hero that came to save the day, and you'll remember it as the hero that came to save the day.
Yes, we're all villains.
Look, the victor writes the story, right? And if I'm running off to failure is okay as long as I'm trying. Yes. Failure is okay. Failure is necessary. Failure is required to be able to figure out where, but you don't have to be proven wrong for the failure. Like there's no proof needed.
I do slightly object to the term trying. If you're trying, you're not doing it. So if you did what you did and it was a failure, that's okay.
Yeah.
Next time you're going to do better because you knew what the failure was.
Well, the thing is putting in effort towards the goal. Now, just trying, that's very vague, right? Trying for what? What are you trying for? What is the goal? What are you trying to do? What is it to achieve? Right? What are you failing at? Like, if you're failing, like, what are you failing at? And what can you change to not fail at it? If you're failing at life, why are you failing at life? Is it inactivity that's causing you to fail at life? Well, create some fucking action. Right? Get some action going.
If what I just said,
James says that's what he means by trying.
Okay, no, this is a matter of water being wet. Okay? Is water wet or is it not? Does it make things wet or is water? Okay, so when you're trying, what you're doing is you're putting effort towards something, an eventual hypothetical. Okay, sorry, James, I brought the water. Yes. So you're putting effort in towards a potential hypothetical end goal. Now, this would look like this in real life. You're trying to jump. Say you're trying to jump more than 3 feet. That's your goal. You want to jump 3 feet. Now you're going to keep trying to jump 3 feet. Okay, you keep doing it, and you have the associated experience with trying. So tried, failed, tried, failed. So it's a cycle of trying and failing. Okay. Now, if I switch this around to I'm no longer trying to jump 3 feet, I'm going to jump as far as I can. And maybe it's only 2 foot. Maybe I'm going to say I want to jump a little further than 2 foot. Next time, more of a run up, I get 2.5 or almost 2 3/4 foot. I'm not a very good jumper. But then when I get to 3 foot, I've got 3 foot. I jumped 3 foot. I didn't spend any time trying to jump 3 foot. But the whole time I was getting better at jumping.
So this reminds me of my children. Okay.
Me?
No. So like whenever I want one of my children to do something, say, hey, go do that. Like go to bed. This is a big one, right? So my 2-year-old, go to bed. Well, like he'll go to his bed as a toddler bed, right? Like it's about shin high. Okay. So that's not very high. Like he could step over it. Okay. So he gets up to it and then acts like he's trying to climb into it and falls on the floor.
Nice try.
Buddy. And then like he just basically gets up to it and collapses his legs as though he was trying to get on his bed. Now think about how many times in your life do you walk to that bed and you just collapse your legs and claim that you tried. You didn't try. You didn't really try. You showed up to it and thought it was too hard. You didn't try. Didn't try. Be honest with yourself. How many times have we faced that bed and decided we can't climb into it? We need somebody's help.
Yeah. Or the truck.
Or the truck. Yeah, those are long nights to get that drunk. Is that the corporate ladder? Look, so this ladder right here, James is pointing out, is that the corporate ladder? Well, I want to point out something. Me and David are very against the corporate idea, the idea of a corporation operating as a corporation.
It's a nice analogy, though, because it doesn't go anywhere.
The corporate ladder does have a top. See, what we're operating under is we're not operating under a corporate ladder. We're operating under freedom. We're operating under the freedom to choose to live life in the manner in which we choose to. So we have responsibilities we're responsible for, right? And as long as we're tending to those responsibilities, like taking care of ourselves, mental health, well-being, and all that stuff, the people around us, we're showing up for the shit that we're supposed to show up for. We're doing the things that we've promised that we'll do, right? I don't even remember the point that I was making with this, but the corporate ladder, like we're operating under freedom. We don't need a structure of promotion. I don't want a structure of this level and that level.
Really? I thought we were trying to start a pyramid scheme for sovereign citizens. You know, it makes sense, bro.
First off, how do you think they would fall for a MLM, a pyramid scheme?
I think so. I think it's presented.
I think if you sell it under the guise of patriotism,
yeah.
I think you probably could.
Yeah.
But anyway, so operating under the guise of a corporation, right? That just means that there's ultimately somebody in charge that makes the decisions. Now there may be a board and stuff like that, but the way that personally I feel about operating and the things that we're to do is the structure is not about climbing the ladder. The structure is about doing the most good, right? And it's not being rewarded in the sense of like the benefit of the podcast and stuff like that and the things that we're doing with Driftwood and that being the reward. The reward is that we get to help people. All right. The reward is that we get to share the things that we've learned within facing cognitive dissonance, honestly, right? Just feeling lost in the world and not everything sucked. Everything sucked. Like I thought I was happy. You thought you were happy too, right? At times, maybe. This guy didn't think he was happy. No, look.
I don't even consider that.
Let's be honest. I had a very grim view of the world. I didn't have a whole lot of hope for you guys. Look, I thought you were all. Look, I thought you were all to an end. You were all wasteless idiots that were all going to just pile up as a pile of meat.
You know what? Y'all should be lucky I didn't file that report to the Galactic Empire. It was just like buttoned the earth.
Yeah, but coming from that experience of knowing that, like, there's, faith-based reality, hope in humanity, right? Like, I had no hope in humanity. I had no I didn't think that they could achieve anything, right? And you see all these problems. Everybody's got their issues, right? Victim this, victim that. Woe is me. Everybody's just getting shit on. Everybody, right? You got Black Lives Matter. They're getting shit on, right? You get the Proud Boys. They're getting shit. Everybody's getting shit on, right? Right. The Klan's getting shit on. You're getting shit on. We're all getting shit on.
Can't we all just get shit on?
The reality is everybody's playing fucking victim. Everybody, right? Even you listening, right? You've been wrong. You've had something done to you, right? That's a victim mindset. It's like, woe is me, right? I have these things bothering me and you should give me a break because of that, right? That's entitlement. That is exactly what entitlement is. You're owed a break because you're going through some hard shit. Everybody's going through hard shit. You're not owed no break. Nope. You still got to figure out. You're not facing anything that somebody else hasn't faced and figure out. Well, you think they're better than you? You think they got all the clues and the keys that you don't? All right, give yourself some credit. You've been alive this long. You've gotten this far. You know something. Don't be so down on yourself. You got a little bit figured out. And now you're here listening to this, questioning things. Huh? Mm-hmm. Isn't it easy to be a victim because it's been? Oh, yeah. Bro, man, that's the highlight. The best badge you can wear right now in society is being a victim. That's the biggest badge you can wear.
I can't remember
Sorry, I got angry faced on that.
I can't remember who the dude was, but he said, I might have been sorry. You can judge a society by how it treats its children and its old people.
We don't treat our children or our old people very good.
No, but what that's pointing to is that the things that society expresses represents its structure. So when in our modern day society, we have entire government departments and agencies and things that are entirely dedicated to the idea of victimhood, of people being victims of this, that, and the other. Countless laws being written to address the issue of people being victims of something or another. So yes, it is.
Look, can you read that? I wrote it all backwards.
I'm a what? I am not a victim.
Look, we're doing the front facing camera.
Yeah, right.
So if I were to write it correctly. It shows it right.
So, where are we?
Isn't it easy to be a victim because it's been made easy? Or it's easier to be a victim because it's been made easy? I'll put that up there.
I don't know necessarily. Yes, it has been made easy, but I think more importantly, it's been made more socially acceptable. Now, back in the Stone Age, when I was a kid, there was this thing that for certain things you just didn't get any sympathy. Like if you hurt yourself, if you injured yourself through stupidity, You didn't get any sympathy. You got no care for that because that was stupid. You're not entitled to. You're not entitled to any care or
Hey,
sympathy.
didn't we say earlier to make it easy though? James is asking, isn't it easy to be a victim? Didn't we say make it easier?
Oh,
Man, maybe
dang.
that is the easier way. Maybe I got it wrong. Look, all you guys playing victim out there, thinking that you're owed shit because you've been wronged. Maybe you got it right. Maybe I got it wrong.
I think it certainly is easier to sit around on your ass waiting for things to come to you.
Well, yeah. Well, if it doesn't show up, it's not your fault because
Yeah.
they didn't fulfill their part, so it's not your fault. Your hands are clean. You showed up and you buckled at the bed, but you showed up to the bed.
It's easier. It's easier to sit around and do, but it's not actually easier to get the things you want by doing that.
Yeah, listen, not in a moral way. Look, even if you're going to steal things from people, that requires effort and work, right? Look, putting up a front and a face requires effort and work. Look, all of these things that you guys do on the social media, that you present this image of what it is, the life that you're living, that you want people to think that you're living. That requires work. Think about how much effort goes into presenting an image. Now, if you put that much effort into doing something about bettering yourself, think about the effort.
Well, that's what I mean about trying. Presenting an image to me is trying. Oh, I can't get in a bit. Oh, I can't make it. You're presenting an image.
That's your personal issue with work.
Yeah.
Well, for me, to try is a failed attempt. To try is not to achieve, right? To achieve is.
Unless the only time you should be interested in tries is if you're playing cricket, and nobody in their right mind plays cricket.
Not even tries.
Tries to play cricket, tries to get a cricket try. No, that's not cricket. That's rugby.
Look, so I got a problem. So the whole idea, the reason why we
been away from the old land too long.
Part of the reason why we talked about on episode 62 of entitlement was, I mean, look, I see people posting all the time that they deserve this or they don't deserve that. Why this, why that, right? I'm in some empath groups, right? Why does this happen to me? Why? Okay. I mean, yeah, maybe you should ask yourself, why is this happening to you? But honestly, do you think that you're the only one that shit happens to? Come on. There's other people out there that are dealing with shit with this stuff. Find them, talk to them, figure out how they got through it. All right. Find support. You need support. Like James, answer your question earlier. Resources, you need support. Mm-hmm. Find ways to garner support. Mm-hmm. Right? You need support, but how do you get support? Listen to our relationships episode and determine what type of relationship you want with people. Then you can determine the type of support you strum up. Right? If you want to know how to be better at these things, right, find ways to get better at these things. Question what it is for you. Right? If you don't know what friends are, right, you've only had bad examples, maybe you should ask yourself, what is a friend? And maybe you've been setting the bar a little too low for these people. And you've been just allowing anybody into your life because they like you, because they give you a time of day. Have some value in yourself. And just because somebody gives you attention does not mean that they like you. Sorry. That's just a fact. But look at me. I know what I look like. Listen, guys, it's late. Look, what time is it? It's almost 10 o'clock at night. I got an hour drive home.
Yeah, it's way after my bedtime.
Look, I'm going to end it on this. Listen to episode TDP number 62 tomorrow at noon when we talk about entitlement, okay? But before you do that, go to buymeacoffee.com/driftwood. Mm-hmm. Check out the exclusive stuff we got on there. And if you want to know what it is that we're working on as far as being reality consultants, check out Buy Me a Coffee. You can find more information there. Now, we're developing these things, and as they progress, we'll provide more information to you. But if you want to be involved on the involvement of how these things progress, get over to Buy Me a Coffee. Talk to us. Engage with us. Let us know what you're thinking. Let us know the value you've had in these things. It's important to us because we want to provide things that are valuable, things that help people, because we know what it's like to feel lost and stuck. It shit sucks. It ain't fun. But you don't have to face it.
Yeah, I think we need to get off. We're about to get a phone call.
Later.